Ready.
Go for it.
Option 1, strong angry. What the hell, man? You broke my stuff just like that. You need to pay for this.
Okay, direct demand.
Option 2, I'm so pissed off. Look, I really need you to help me buy a new pair. At least split the cost with me.
Emotional, but still demanding action.
Option 3, calm, firm disagreement and assertion. Hang on, I don't agree they were not old, and since you broke them, you owe me their replacement cost.
Calm, factual, clear expectation. Implied pause for listener practice.
Okay, so we've all been there, right? You're maybe stunned or just really furious inside, ready to say something.
Yeah, but the words just vanish.
Exactly. You desperately want to hit back with, I don't know, strong, I completely disagree, but instead you just freeze, blank stare.
Oh, it's the worst kind of linguistic failure, isn't it? That feeling of not being able to stand up for yourself when it really matters. You know how you feel.
Right.
But you just don't have the assertive words to match it.
So our mission for this deep dive
Yeah.
is pretty straightforward. Linguistic self-defense. We're essentially giving you a shortcut to handle every phase of an argument.
From just, disagreeing casually.
To making a really firm, maybe even unfiltered stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've looked at sources covering the whole spectrum of confrontation. The idea is to give you that vocabulary arsenal so you can control the situation.
That's right. And look, arguments, they're a necessary, natural part of life. Doesn't matter if it's setting a boundary with your family or defending your point at work. It happens. And our goal isn't just listing words. We want you to understand the strategy, choosing the right phrase for the right fight.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Jump right in. We'll start by normalizing disagreement a bit, then we'll get into the riskier stuff, strong language.
Right, the bad words.
Yeah. And then how to be calm but firm. And finally, how to wrap things up, the exit strategy.
Sounds good.
So first off, let's just acknowledge that an argument doesn't always mean some huge, serious conflict. Often, arguments are about really small, almost trivial things.
Absolutely. And that's actually where you practice these skills.
Think about those little daily frictions, right? Who gets the thermostat control?
Hi, yes.
Or who takes out the recycling?
Right.
Or maybe a disagreement about how to do something in a work project. Small stuff.
These low-stakes moments are actually crucial. They teach you how to say a firm no without blowing up the whole relationship. You need that clarity.
Like that friend scenario we saw in the sources. Ravi wants to watch a horror flick, and Priya is absolutely not having it. She doesn't just mumble, no. She draws a line, hell no. You know I get nightmares.
Firm boundary.
Totally. And when he pushes back, she reinforces it instantly. I said, no, not happening.
Not happening. That's a great phrase. It's so concise, strong, immediate.
Yeah.
And what's really key here for you listening is that Priya isn't really being rude in that context. She's just setting a clear, personal, non-negotiable boundary.
Right.
Arguing sometimes is just functional. It's how you communicate what you absolutely won't accept. You need these linguistic tools ready so you don't get pushed into something you really don't want.
Okay, so function is one thing, but now we need to talk about the high-risk zone.
Right. Using strong language, the so-called bad words. When you go there, you're spending social currency. You have to understand the potential fallout.
Definitely. If you decide to use that kind of strong English, you have to be really aware of the risk assessment. The context, who you're talking to it, changes absolutely everything.
Everything. Some phrases, well, they're pretty much just for close friends or peers because they escalate things immediately. Like if a friend says something totally unbelievable or just plain wrong, you might hear, that's bullshit. It's like an exclamation of disbelief, usually between equals. Or if a friend is being genuinely unkind or unfair, you might use a direct personal attack, like, don't be an asshole.
Ooh, sharp.
Yeah. And then there's the more general expression of shock or anger, which is often a bit safer because it's, well, vaguer. What the hell?
I do worry, though, for someone learning these, that shut up sounds easy and quick to use. But that phrase is like conversational dynamite, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Shut up is a direct command. It's meant to silence the other person. It's almost always seen as extremely rude, very aggressive. Compare that to what the hell. That expresses your feeling your surprise or frustration. One attacks the person directly, the other expresses your internal state. Always try to express your state first if you can.
That makes sense. And in a professional setting, the rules are even tighter.
Much stricter. Strong language should really only surface if the situation is genuinely extreme. Say, your boss demands an impossible 3 p.m. deadline, and you've already pulled an all-nighter.
Okay, breaking point.
Exactly. If you're pushed to your absolute limit, your response might focus on the impossibility. Are you serious? There's no way in hell that's possible.
Right. Focus on the task, not the person.
Precisely. What's fascinating there is, even in that extreme case, the strong language, hell, emphasizes impossibility. It's not a direct insult to the boss. That's the critical difference.
Got it.
So, the crucial rule for you listening: avoid using these strong words with strangers, teachers, bosses, unless you are fully prepared for a serious, potentially relationship-altering fight.
It's like conversational explosives.
That's a good way to put it. The risk rarely justifies the reward outside of very close, very informal relationships.
Okay, so we've seen the nuclear options. But most disagreements don't need mutually assured destruction. Let's talk about the phrases for keeping things intact, but still getting your point across.
Yes, calm, respectful, but still firm assertion.
This is about strategy too, right?
Totally. The linguistic strategy is pretty simple here. Assertion often uses I language and owning your perspective, instead of attacking their idea, which is you language.
Like you're wrong.
Exactly. You assert your perspective. The basic reliable phrases are things like, I don't agree with you. Simple. Or if you have facts, that's not true, and here's why.
That does feel different. Saying you are wrong feels like a direct hit. But I see things differently. Well, that's just stating a fact about your own view.
Precisely. Think about that sibling cookie fight example. Sister accuses, you always take the last cookie.
Always the drama.
Right. If the brother just says, no, I don't, well, that just starts a back and forth denial cycle. But a calmer, firm refusal that states his truth is better. That's not true. I left you one last time. He's asserting his position without pouring fuel on the fire.
And there's that physical tool suggested in the sources, the role play tip, which I think is actually quite useful.
The breathing thing.
Yeah. Before you react, especially when you feel that anger bubbling up, just take a breath. Count to 3.
Yeah.
That little pause stops the knee-jerk reaction.
Wait, gives you a second.
And lets you choose a more calculated assertion instead.
And that pause helps you frame your strong opinion, not as some universal truth, but as your experience. You use phrases like, in my opinion, that's just wrong. Or maybe, from my experience, it's not like that.
Owning it.
Exactly. By owning the disagreement, you separate the idea from the person. Help stop the argument getting too personal.
That's perfect for that group project scenario. Team A says, let's just finish this last minute tomorrow.
Yeah, the procrastinator.
Right. You need to protect the grade.
Yeah.
So you can firmly say, no way, in my opinion, that's a terrible idea. We'll get a bad grade. You're stating the consequence, not just refusing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Giving the why. Now, not every argument ends with a clear winner. Often, the best outcome is just managing the conflict itself. That means de-escalation and making sure everyone's clear.
Right. Negotiating the argument itself. That's a skill. You need phrases that can shift the dynamic, shift it away from a fight.
Towards problem solving.
Yeah. Using constructive phrases like, can we talk about this calmly? Or even more direct, let's not fight, let's discuss.
It's classic reframing, isn't it? You're immediately changing the definition of the situation. Think about that roommate example. Roommate 1 comes in hot. Why are your shoes everywhere?
Aggressive.
Yep. Instead of firing back, roommate 2 uses timing. Sorry, can we talk about it after dinner? I'm really tired. It acknowledges the issue.
But defers the discussion.
Right. Manages the conversation until they're maybe calmer or better prepared.
We should also probably acknowledge that in really close relationships, family, long-term partners, sometimes the language just gets raw, emotional.
Oh, for sure.
It's not always meant to be rude in the same way. It's more about expressing real pain or frustration.
That's where you hear things like, you never listen to me, damn it. Or just pure feeling, I'm so pissed off right now. These often tap into history, not just the immediate thing.
Or that simple plea for space, just let me talk for once.
Yeah.
Like that family dynamic example. Dad confronts you about chores, you feel defensive. You might blurt out emotionally, yeah, okay, I messed up. All right, damn it, I'm not perfect.
See, that use of damn it there isn't really attacking dad.
No.
It's conveying your own internal frustration, even while you're kind of admitting fault. It's honest. Raw emotion.
And through all this, clarity is key, right?
Always. If confusion is making things worse, just stop, ask questions. Assumptions are conversation killers. Ask, why do you think that?
Yeah.
Or simply, explain your point again. And if something is genuinely confusing and frustrating you, you could even use a slightly stronger clarification question like, what the hell does that mean? Use with caution, obviously.
Yeah, context again. But that last one could be useful, maybe even in a formal setting, if slightly softened. Like if a teacher or client gives a really vague instruction about a project topic.
Right, you need detail.
And asking, could you explain your point again, please? Or, I'm not sure I follow, could you elaborate? It demands the necessary detail but stays professional.
Good point. Okay, so what happens when you've both made your cases and nobody's changing their mind?
Ah, the exit strategy. You need phrases for when it's time to just stop. The off-ramp for the argument.
This is often the mature move, actually. Preserving the relationship becomes more important than winning the point. The classic is, let's agree to disagree.
Simple enough.
Or the more casual, maybe slightly dismissive version, whatever, you do you. And the really definitive boundary-setting one, fine, think what you want.
I sometimes worry, though, that let's agree to disagree can feel like a bit of a cop-out. Can it actually damage things by avoiding a necessary conversation?
That's a really sharp point. It works beautifully for low-stakes stuff, like those friends arguing about football versus cricket.
Right.
They end with, you know what, let's agree to disagree and go get ice cream. It redirects the energy. Perfect.
Okay.
But if you use that line on a deep, fundamental values disagreement with your partner, yeah, it can harm the relationship because you're shutting down a necessary, maybe difficult conversation. So use it for preferences, not core principles.
Good distinction. And after the heat's gone, you need the repair language. Don't let that bad feeling just hang there.
Absolutely. You need to know how to apologize, patch things up. And apologies don't need to be grand gestures. Keep them direct, specific.
Like,
Sorry for getting angry, or I didn't mean to be rude. The aim is to move past it. Let's put it behind us. Even a quick text can work wonders after a shouting match. Hey, sorry for shouting earlier, friends.
quick, effective, crucial for repair. Okay, now it's your turn, listener. We want to put these phrases into practice. Imagine this scenario. A friend borrows your, let's say, quite extensive headphones
Okay.
and breaks them. Then they try to minimize it by saying, sorry, they were old anyway.
Oof. That specific phrase, they were old anyway, that's classic minimization. They're trying to dismiss your feelings and the actual loss by pretending the headphones had no value. You have to challenge that.
Right. So we want you to pause right now just for a few seconds and actually try saying one of these three responses out loud. Pick the one that fits the kind of response you would want to give. Ready?
Go for it.
Option 1, strong angry. What the hell, man? You broke my stuff just like that. You need to pay for this.
Okay, direct demand.
Option 2, emotional demand. I'm so pissed off. Look, I really need you to help me buy a new pair. At least split the cost with me.
Emotional, but still demanding action.
Option 3, calm, firm disagreement and assertion. Hang on, I don't agree they were not old, and since you broke them, you owe me their replacement cost.
Calm, factual, clear expectation. Implied pause for listener practice. Okay, hopefully you actually tried one of those out loud. Use those phrases to stand your ground in this scenario. Now, just to wrap up all this vocabulary, let's do a few more rapid-fire phrases, little bonus nuggets for specific situations.
Yeah, here's where it gets really interesting, applying these last little strategies.
Right. So, when you need to demand fairness, that's not fair. Simple. When you're challenging someone's logic or proposal, come on, be reasonable.
Good one.
If someone twists your words, don't put words in my mouth. If you're pushing back against blame, you started it, not me. Classic.
Yes.
And the ultimate I'm done with this conversation phrase. Enough already.
Powerful.
So to kind of synthesize this whole deep dive, you now have a toolkit for pretty much every level of disagreement. You know how to be calm and firm by owning your perspective.
Using that I language.
Right. You know ways to de-escalate. And you're aware of the risks, the potential consequences of using those nuclear options, the strong words. The absolute key is strategic choice.
Choosing the right tool for the job.
Exactly. Picking the right level of force for the right situation.
And that confidence, knowing which word to choose, it really comes from understanding the strategy behind it all. So we really encourage you to try using these phrases confidently in your real-life English conversations. Use them to assert yourself. Protect your boundaries.
You really do need to know how to stand up for yourself, because if you don't, well, often nobody else will.
So what does this all really mean at the end of today? It means your words have power. Use that vocabulary to defend your boundaries. State your positions clearly. But always remember, the smartest move isn't necessarily using the strongest word available. It's often about using the most precise and strategic one. Precision, not just volume, is often what actually wins the argument, or at least gets your point across effectively.